That was the first thing my son heard on the very first day after his wedding. Those words weren't spoken as a joke. They weren't a misunderstanding. They were barked, sharp, loud, and full of humiliation. My name is Daniel, and I'm a father who always taught my son Ethan one thing: respect is earned, not demanded. Ethan had just married Mia, a sweet, intelligent girl from a wealthy, traditional family. Her father, Mr. Aldridge, was the kind of man who loved power, loved being obeyed, loved being feared. And on the first morning after the wedding, he decided to test my son. Ethan called me that day. I still remember his voice, trembling but trying to stay strong. "Dad, he made me clean toilets with a toothbrush." My heart dropped. "What? Why didn't you walk out?" "Because I love Mia, and I thought maybe it's just their family tradition. Maybe it's some joke." But it wasn't a joke. When I asked him what happened, he told me everything. Mr. Aldridge walked him to the guest bathroom, handed him a toothbrush, and said, "In this family, we start from the bottom. If you want to be respected, you must first be humbled." And when Ethan hesitated, just for a second, he slapped the toothbrush into his chest and repeated, "Clean it now." Meanwhile, the entire family stood behind him, watching, laughing, recording videos, whispering. And Mia? She stood frozen, too afraid of her father to speak up. That hurt Ethan even more. When he finished scrubbing all 3 bathrooms, shirt soaked in dirty water, knees bruised, hands burning, Mr. Aldridge said, "Good, now maybe you understand your place." That was the moment something inside Ethan cracked, and something inside me ignited. No father watches his son get humiliated like that. Not while I'm alive. I didn't shout, I didn't threaten. I simply told Ethan, "Son, go home. Don't argue, don't explain, just leave." And then I made one call. A single call that would flip their entire world upside down. The call I made wasn't to the police. It wasn't to Mia. It wasn't to Mr. Aldridge either. It was to my old boss, someone the Aldridge family had no idea I knew. His name was Charles Palmer, CEO of a massive construction corporation, a billionaire, a man even politicians didn't dare to annoy. Years ago, I'd helped him during a crisis, volunteered extra hours, solved a major supply chain disaster, and saved his company millions. He never forgot that. When he picked up, his voice was cheerful. "Daniel, after so long, how are you, my friend?" "I need a help, Charles, a big one." "For you? Anything." I explained everything. What happened to Ethan, what the father-in-law did, how my son was humiliated like a servant. There was silence for 5 long seconds, and then Charles said something that sent chills down my spine. The Aldridges? They're bidding for a government contract, and they need my endorsement to win it. I didn't ask him to do anything specific. I just said, "Do whatever you think is right." He replied, "I will handle it. Trust me." And trust him I did. What I didn't expect, though, was the speed. Within 24 hours, the entire Aldridge family would be on their knees, figuratively and almost literally. But before that storm arrived, another storm was brewing at their mansion. Mia showed up at my house, crying, choking, terrified. "Please don't take Ethan away from me," she begged. "I didn't know Dad would go that far." I wanted to be angry. I wanted to shout, but she was crying so hard I couldn't. "Mia," I said gently, "marriage is a partnership. You stand with your husband, not behind your father." She broke down even harder. "I know, I failed him. I should have spoken up, but my dad, he controls everything. If I go against him, he threatens to cut me off." And suddenly, I understood. She wasn't a bad wife. She was a daughter trapped under a tyrant. I told her Ethan needed space, but she could wait inside and talk to him when he woke. Then, just as she walked in, my phone buzzed. A message from Charles. "It's done. Tomorrow they will learn humility." And I knew the Aldridges were about to face the consequences of humiliating my son. The next day shook their family to the core. At 9:30 a.m., Mr. Aldridge arrived at his company headquarters like always, confident, arrogant, ready to bark orders. He didn't expect the board of directors to be sitting in the conference room. He didn't expect reporters outside the building. He didn't expect a government official waiting at the door. And he definitely didn't expect Charles Palmer to be sitting in his office chair. "What is this?" Mr. Aldridge barked. Charles didn't even raise his voice. "This is what happens when you treat good people like trash." Mr. Aldridge froze. Then Charles dropped the bomb. Number 1, his company was disqualified from the upcoming government contract. Number 2, an internal audit was ordered, effective immediately. Number 3, investors pulled out of several projects. Number 4, his business license renewal was placed under review. All of these things weren't illegal, but they were devastating. When he demanded an explanation, Charles simply slid a file across the table. Inside were photos and videos, not of Ethan cleaning toilets. No, they were screenshots from the Aldridge home's security cameras, showing Mr. Aldridge screaming at staff, throwing objects, abusing employees, and treating people like slaves. "That's enough to ruin your public image for years," Charles said calmly, "and I haven't even shown the media what you made your son-in-law do." Mr. Aldridge turned pale. He wasn't scared of losing money. He was scared of losing power. He stuttered, What do you want from me?" Charles leaned back. "You will apologize to Ethan, to his father, to your daughter." Yes, I will." "And," Charles added with a razor-sharp tone, "from today onward, you will treat your son-in-law with the same respect you demand for yourself." Mr. Aldridge nodded repeatedly. He was a broken man. The mighty lion had been defanged. But the real final lesson, that was about to happen at my house. That afternoon, I heard a car pull up outside, fast, desperate. It was Mr. Aldridge, not in his usual expensive suit, not with guards, not with confidence. He walked to my door with trembling hands, holding a box. I opened the door slowly. He immediately bowed his head, not slightly, not politely, but fully. "Mr. Daniel, I came to apologize for everything." I didn't invite him inside. I didn't comfort him. I simply said, "Ethan is in the living room. You can talk to him." He walked inside like someone walking into a courtroom, and when Ethan stood up, confused, Mr. Aldridge dropped to his knees. On his knees. The same position he forced my son into. "Ethan, I wronged you. I embarrassed you. I tried to test you because I thought wealth made me superior. I was wrong. I am deeply ashamed." Ethan stood frozen. He wasn't expecting this. None of us were. Then Mr. Aldridge opened the box he brought with him. Inside was the same toothbrush he had forced Ethan to use. He said, "I want you to throw this away, and I want you to know I will never treat you with anything less than respect again." Mia was crying silently in the corner. Ethan finally spoke. "I'm willing to forgive you for Mia's sake, but this can never, ever happen again." Mr. Aldridge nodded like a student receiving punishment. "I understand, and I thank you for your forgiveness." He left quietly, defeated, changed, but one thing was still missing: a decision for Ethan and Mia's future. Later that night, Ethan and Mia sat across from me at the dining table. "Dad," Ethan said softly, Should we go back to their house? I shook my head. No, not yet. Mia looked worried. But where will we stay? Here, I said firmly, until your father proves he truly changed. Over the next few weeks, something miraculous happened. Mr. Aldridge started therapy. He stopped shouting at employees. He publicly apologized to his staff. He sent Ethan a respectful message every morning, checking on him. He even told Mia, "If you choose your husband over me, I will still support you." For a man like him, that was huge. 1 month later, Ethan told me quietly, "Dad, I think he's really changed." And he was right. Not because of fear, not because of pressure, but because he finally understood something. Power means nothing when you lose the people who love you. So Ethan and Mia moved into their own apartment, far from both families, independent, happy, free. As for Mr. Aldridge, he still greets me with deep respect whenever we meet, sometimes too much respect, and he never, ever tries to test my son again, because he learned it the hard way.